guys, it's me, Jessica, aka Intriguing One, and
Salsa Lieber, Roberto, Azúcar. For all the salsa people, they know what that means. Go ahead.
Oh boy, here we go again. We're just going to jump right into this week's topic. This week we are talking about what revelations have you had in your journey before or after weight loss surgery that made you realize if you were an emotional or stress eater. And how do you cope with the set trigger of emotions in relations to food? Can we relate?
I guess so, a little bit. I think we all have a little bit of that in one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, we live in a society that is driven on things such as social gatherings where there's food, drinks, snacks. It's just, we've kind of been brought up in a society where food is everywhere when we do things such as celebrate birthdays, holidays, even sad things like funerals. A lot of times there are food. So I think we live in a society where we've been kind of brought up to know that no matter what emotions we're feeling, there's generally food involved. A lot of times we'll have happy memories of our childhood where we were together as families, again, reminiscing around, food and good times. So as far as me, per se, I would have probably said originally that I was not an emotional eater. However, I have now come to the conclusion that I absolutely am an emotional eater. I would say more so in the negative feelings such as sad, depressed, worried, those types of things. That's when my urges are the strongest to eat. So I can say I'm definitely an emotional eater. As far as how to deal with that, that's a whole nother story because it's something that I struggle with. I think the best thing for me is to be busy. Like, for instance, if I'm working and then, like when we were training for a half marathon, it's like work, come home, change clothes, go run, eat dinner, and then shortly after that it's time for bed. So it's like that seems to be what keeps me from having a lot of those emotional moments when you just don't have time for it. You're just busy with your life's commitments, if you will. I've recently just started reading a book. I know a lot of people have probably picked up books or articles in regards to this subject because we want to understand it, because it can be very sabotaging to our journey. So the book that I have here is called, I don't know if you can see that, Love Hunger, and it's Recovery from Food Addiction. I'm only a couple chapters in, but I wanted to share this with you guys because I found it kind of interesting. In the book, I don't know what chapter this is,
Page 28.
It's page 28 in the book, and it gives you 12 common reasons for compulsive eating. And I'm just going to read those real quick to you, and you might be able to relate to some of these. Number 1, overeaters may respond compulsively to cultural pressures. Number 2, overeaters may subconsciously desire added pounds to protect themselves from love and intimacy. Number 3, overeaters may use food to satisfy their need for immediate gratification. Number 4, overeaters may use food as a tranquilizer. Number 5, overeaters may concentrate on their desire for food to avoid facing their problems. Number 6, overeaters may eat to punish themselves or others. 7, overeaters may eat to relieve depression or stress. 8, overeaters may eat to rebel against themselves or others. 9, overeaters may eat to express their need to control their circumstances. Number 10, overeaters may have a faulty perception of their body image. Number 11, overeaters may have emotional feelings about food which were developed at their parents' dinner table, such as you eat until your plate is clean kind of thing. And 12, overeaters use food as a nurturer to satisfy their love hunger. And that's really what this book is about, is finding the underlying reasons of why you might go to food for soothing yourself or stuffing down emotions, that type of thing. And another thing that was in this book that I was going to share with you guys real quick, and I did share this on the Back to Basics group, is the cycle. And I posted, you can see this little diagram there, which is on page 60. And it talks about that the issue of why, where it starts and kind of the vicious cycle that it takes. And number one is love hunger. And in the book it outlines many reasons of why people might be love hungry, as far as things that happen in your childhood, things that happened along the way in your life. So there's a lot of different ways. It's not just, that you don't have a partner in life or something like that. There's a lot of different points. And then 2, it goes to low self-esteem, which is that emotional pain that we feel. And then 3, it goes to the addictive agent, which is food that we're using as an anesthetic. Then 4 goes to consequences, which is obesity, which is probably why we all had weight loss surgery to begin with. And then it goes into 5, which is guilt and shame. And then 6, which is self-hatred. And then it just starts back all over again. So I know a lot of us in the community have been on diets and things like that. And, we just have that vicious cycle of dieting and then feeling like a failure and falling off the wagon and, hating ourselves for not making the right choices or giving up or things like that, feeling like a quitter. I think this is really a deep, complex subject that, frankly, I don't feel too qualified to talk about, other than knowing or admitting that I am, experiencing those same types of things of feeling the need to emotionally eat. And that's actually why I picked up this book, is to hopefully help myself realize that so I can cope better with those triggers. One thing that I did hear that I'm trying to use as a coping mechanism recently was that if you're hungry, you're not going to be hungry for a specific item. So if you have a craving for ice cream, chances are that's emotional eating. Or if you got cravings for something salty. Hunger is, the rumble in your belly when you feel physically hungry, and a lot of times it can be put off for some bit of time, whereas emotional hunger is more of that, I need something right now, I need something sweet, salty, or whatever you might be craving. That's more of that emotional eating. So I'm trying to question myself when I do feel the urge to eat. Is it because my stomach is rumbling? Am I hungry? Or is it because of some other emotional trigger that I may or may not be aware of? So that's just my 2 cents on it. So you got anything to add to that fun subject?
Yeah, well, before I say anything, I just want to say, and I want to make sure that whatever I share with you guys is my journey, is something to me. I don't want anybody, or I don't want to tell people this is the rule to follow. And I'm not trying to promote anything, but one thing I remember going to food addicts. I don't know, it's a big thing. I didn't know until I went in line, and they're pretty much worldwide. It's just like AA meetings, but instead of alcohol, it's food. And going to those meetings, I realized, wow, I am addicted to food. I am an emotional eater. And I think that seeing that people, and that's when I realized that I am sad, angry. I mean, I'm Latin. Latin people, we're very emotional to begin with. I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm this, emotionals and problems in your marriage, your relationship. A friend of mine used to joke around that the refrigerators never say no. It's always waiting for you there. And he was referring, of course, to his spouse. I think Jessica hit it right on. I think the best way to deal with that is to stay busy. I mean, in general, whatever you do in life, if you're not busy, if you just not do anything, I even heard it at church one of those days. How did the men get involved into pornography on the internet? Because they're not busy. They're not doing anything, so they're bored. So if you're busy, most likely you're not gonna. You're so busy. Your mind is, whether it's cleaning your car, whether it's working in your car, whether it's in the house. So that's what I try to do. That's what I always. My wife criticized me a lot that, oh, you always want to clean this, clean that. And I'm always organizing something because I want to stay busy, because I know myself. If I'm bored, most likely I'm going to head to the kitchen because I'm an emotional eater. So for me, knowing that and admitting that having addiction, one time a friend of mine, he was an alcoholic, and say, I told him, do you want a beer? I didn't know he was. I said, no, I'm an alcoholic. That's it. And I will always be alcoholic. I haven't drank for 5 years. So I said, wow. So to me, recognizing that I have an addiction for food, that I'm an emotional eater, help me every day, fight that. It's okay to, hey, I have a problem, but I deal with that. So, sometimes I fall off the wagon. I'm not perfect. But for the most part, and that's the reason I want to share this, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that they feel, wow, this is, because you feel it's only you. And sometimes that's how I feel. I'm not crying or anything, but I can tell you I have my moments. Hey, guys, we do cry, okay? And I'm proud of it too. So, it's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong with you. It's just... it's life, but you have to realize you have a problem and move forward, and you'll be okay. A lot of people, it's just people who have cancer and they live with cancer for many years. So it's just something else that we have, a little bump in the road. So that's what we're here for. That's why we make the videos. And whether it's in form of books, whether in form of talking to each other, whether it's making a phone call to one of my, I reach out. I have told people many times. I know you guys do a lot of texting, a lot of Facebooking. I'm more like a caller. Once in a while I will say I like, and my wife say you should put more than just like. I know I try, but I'm more like a caller. I want to hear in the other end a friendly voice. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing good. So that's the way I reach out to people.
So that was the one thing I was going to add, is that, having people that you can reach out to, that when you are having those moments where you know that you're being... or you're vulnerable, a lot of times they can kind of talk you off the ledge, if you know what I mean. So
that's a word for me, by the way.
I don't know what that means.
She just put the puppy face and said, honey, baby. And I'm like, oh. It worked for you guys, not to me. She won't listen to me. Go ahead.
Okay. I guess that's it for us then.
I guess so. And again, azúcar.
I don't even know what that means,
it's,
but okay.
For the ones that you know, it's an icon, Celia Cruz. Every time she sings a salsa song, she will say azúcar. That's her trademark. So anyway, a little bit of history of salsa there. So you get everything here. Adios.
That's it for us. See you guys next week.
Bye. Lucy and Ricardo. Adios.